Hello, everybody! Ouch! Hello, everybody, and welcome to. Now I gotta go make sure that was taken. Welcome to the diaries. Yeah, guys, I've had a lousy week. I've had a lousy week and a half, actually. Just feeling not on the top of my game. Kind of bummed out. We released a new song about a week and a half ago. And it just hasn't got much in the way of the response. And generally, when I release new tunes, I hear quite a bit about it. This one, just didn't hear much about it. And after watching it several times, I'm trying to go, what's wrong with this song? And I don't think it's the song so much as it's the video. It's just kind of depressing. It just sits there and doesn't do a whole heck of a lot. It was a tough song to do, and it was probably not a great choice for Waiting for Waffles. It's called Human. It's by Rag and Bone Man, and it's on the Waiting for Waffles channel on YouTube. It's also on the Waiting for Waffles Facebook page if you want to see it. But I guess we just did not hit it out of the ballpark, and that kind of bummed me out. And then last Sunday, when we were supposed to have our rehearsal, I just didn't feel it. And of course, we're getting to the end of the month, which means rent is due, the money issues, which is like omnipresent. It just looks darker some days than it does others. And I have been very bummed out. Not have been my old chipper self. So how are we going to fix that? I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing. Tomorrow, Wednesday, I have a day off. My days off have changed again because my scheduling's been changed. That's another thing. Our work schedule is getting trimmed down because of the new schedule for the fall. But theoretically, it shouldn't affect me this year nearly as bad as it has. But still. In any case, so tomorrow I have the day off. I hope you'll stick around for it. I'll try not to sit in one spot and look at things and not say anything for, 8 minutes like I did the last episode. I really needed to trim that, edit that, trim it down more, and I thought I had, and then after I watched it, I went, oh my gosh, there's a lot of dead air on that. So I apologize for that. This one is going to be more, more what, I don't know, but it's going to be more something. So, without any further ado, don't feel any better yet, but I'm working on it. Let's get going! I want to show you something. I'm getting my groceries out of my bag. Alright. You see this? It says thank you. Sorry, wrong story. You see this? This is deli style oven roasted turkey breast. Okay? I went to our local grocery store. It's not late, it's 7:30, so it's about 7:30, I went over there, and I wanted to get some stuff so I can make some sandwiches for a while, which has helped to cut down my girth, which I'm actually making some progress on, and I don't want to screw it up, he said, turning the camera. Okay. Well, there's one thing that I am not a fan of, and that's ham. Never have really liked ham. I don't dislike it, I don't hate it, I just don't care for it. So whenever I go looking for something like this, I'm usually looking for turkey or I'm looking for roast beef. Well, I went, like I said, it's about 7:30. People have been in the store today, and they have racks and racks and racks of roast beef and turkey and all these racks of ham. Let me rephrase that. They have the racks. They don't have the roast beef. They don't have the turkey. That's been picked over, except for this one package. Everything else is ham, honey ham, baked ham, smoked ham, whatever. It's all ham. Ham-hamity, ham-ham. Now, you would think that the store might catch on that not a lot of people care for the ham. Just by nature of, at the end of the day, ham. That's it, ham. It's all that's left. Everything else is gone. So when I go to this store, and I go to this store to get things like this. Now this store is not known for being inexpensive. I'll tell you who it is. It's Bashas'. It's right across the street from where I live. Well, across the street from the corner where I live. I go there not for the deals, because they don't have any. I go there because they're close. So if I only have to pick up a couple of things, I will go there. That being said, their meat prices are very reasonable. Their meat prices are pretty darn reasonable. Everything else, no. So when I go over there to get something as simple as some turkey slices, deli sliced turkey, and they have a deli. Of course, it's closed at 7:30. Go figure. Well, I'm wading through oceans of ham to get to this stuff. It's just like ham and ham. If they had an organ there, it'd be a hammin'. It's just so much ham. And it's kind of annoying. And it's also got to be a waste of money for the store because they buy so bloody much ham. They don't even have bloody much ham. Did you know that? They buy so much of this ham, at the end of the day, you know, it's done. And these things don't stay good forever. That is one thing I do know. I want to show you something. Something else. I know it's the same background, same hair, same shirt. It's the same night. I want to show you this. It says, thank you. No, I want to show you this. This is something I've never had before. This is a loaf of egg bread. Now, many of you may have had egg bread before. I don't know. I never have. And I looked at it, and I was looking for, like I said, I'm making some sandwiches. And I looked at it, and I thought, it looks like something out of a 1950 science fiction film. Right? The Brain. Oh, Night of the Living Bread. There you go. Anyway, I've never tried this before. So I'm going to try it right now. And you can, while you're here. First thing I notice, it's yellowish in color. Let's try that piece with some butter on it. Like I said, I've never had egg bread before. Never even actually heard of it. So I decided to take a chance. So, got some butter on it. That's good. I like it. Can't cut it, but I like it. Oh, I'm curious to see how that worked on my sandwiches, too. Okay, that was all. I've had a pretty rotten week and a half. Just all kinds of little things, like the camera being cockeyed. I'm seeing now that the tripod is... I think I went too far. Yes, I still have the same broken tripod. In any case, it's just been lousy. And there's two things that would help. One, if it would rain. Ain't happening. Dadgummit. But I do have rain sound effects I could always play. The other is some comfort food. I have been working on my diet. I have brought my weight down a bit. Comfort food should not affect my diet, or anybody's diet, depending upon what it is. Now, if your comfort food is cheeseburgers and 3 tacos and a side of fries, well, yeah, that's going to affect you. And quite frankly, just saying that made my stomach growl. But no, I'm making homemade comfort food. I'm going to make chicken noodle soup. I'm not making Campbell's chicken noodle soup or Weiler's chicken noodle soup. I'm making my home brew. My home brew of chicken noodle soup is it should be in the encyclopedia, I guess in the Wikipedia now, under comfort food. It is the perfect comfort food. Because if you like, you know, if you like chicken noodle soup, it's comfort food, but it is not tinny like chicken noodle. It's hard to explain. The chicken noodle soup I make stays with you a little longer. It's warm, it's comforting, it feels good. Now, many of you may make it this way, many of you may not. So I'm going to show you real quick. This does not take a lot of time. The only time taken that takes time to take when you're taking the time of taking is to cube your chicken meat. Now, the easiest thing to do is either buy chicken meat that's already been cubed like this, or just get stir-fry chicken and you're done, because those are long strips. Now I'm going to show you this really simple. If you've done it before, you don't have to leave a message saying, "Oh, I do that all the time." You don't have to do that. And don't do it in that voice either, because that was annoying. Now take a look. This is really simple. Okay, so the first step is I got a little Worcestershire sauce in here. I put it on the stove and dump my chicken in here. That is a hot pan. Let me tell you a story. Once upon a time there was a hot pan and that's it. Okay, so we're going to take the spatula and I'm going to separate it. Now hang on and I'll show you what I'm doing. Right, so, along with the chicken, I'm going to put in a little Worcestershire and chicken sauce some more on the chicken itself. And you might want to put oil in there. I'm going to put some butter in there. Basically because I don't want to reach all the way down in the cabinet to get the oil. Generally, you'd probably want to do this at the beginning. I don't know why I did it sideways, but I did. Alright. That looks pretty darn good. Now, it's okay just to brown the chicken because it's going to sit in this pot for about 20 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm going to heat up a pot of water back here. Okay, so the next thing is I'm going to use bouillon. I use chicken bouillon. Don't use chicken stock. I said this in another episode or something or other, or about it. And I said, don't use chicken stock. A plastic bottle fell on the floor. That's how much you should not use chicken stock. Chicken stock is made from chicken. We have chicken right here. This stock is made basically from celery, onion, and that sort of thing. It is not a chicken stock, it's a stock to go with chicken. So to this, I'm now going to add 3 cups of water. There's a cup of one, number 1. There's a cup of number 2. There's a cup of number 3. Alright. So I have 3 cups of water. And I'm going to add 1 tablespoon for each. No, I lied. 1 teaspoon for each cup of water of the chicken bouillon. And I'm going to make sure I spill some on the burner. Now, this looks a lot oranger than you would expect. That is because of the Worcestershire sauce. Alright, into this we're going to add, no we're not because I'm out of it. Okay, well, into this we're going to add a little Creole seasoning. This is just me. I add Creole seasoning to a lot of things because I'm not supposed to have the extra salt. Okay, so we got that in mixing and moving into wonderful things. Now, this is where it's a little different. Normally, that would be your soup base. Just that. My soup base is a little different. I'll show you why. Okay, so
what I'm going to make here in this cup is a water and flour slurry. Pretty much everybody knows how to make a slurry. It is one of the easiest, most complicated things in the world. Because whereas the actual creation of said slurry is easy peasy lemon squeezy, the behavior of said lemon slurry is a problem child. Because if you mix it with warm water, it turns into paste instantly. And we don't want to do that. So I have flour in here. I have 1/3 of this cup. And I'm going to add close to the same amount of water. Okay, I've added close to the same amount of water. I'm going to stir this up with a fork. Normally I'd use a whisk, but I can't find my whisk. So it's approximately the consistency of pancake batter. Okay, so as you can see, my soup base here is just boiling like crazy. We're going to very carefully add the slurry, a little bit at a time. Keep stirring. I don't know if you can see that, my arm is probably in the way. Until it's a little bit creamier. A little bit creamier. Now don't overdo this, because as it heats up, it's going to get thicker. And what we're trying to not make is one solid piece of chicken bouillon. We want it to be creamy and moving around and everything. This is what makes it stick with you a little longer. Now I'm going to add to this, and this should surprise nobody at all, some corn. As you may know, I kind of like corn. To the point where I put it in almost everything, except ice cream and cereal. So we're going to pour some corn in here. Stir it in. And then we're going to let, oh, that's a perfect consistency. Now we're going to let that simmer. It's going to simmer for about 20 minutes for a specific reason. Here is a specific reason. We're using Bream's egg noodles, frozen egg noodles. These suckers are awesome. And they make the soup that much heartier. You put this in, you just pour it into the hot water for 20 minutes. Now there are other types of noodles. There's like, you can use the linguine noodles. These only have to sit in there for about 2 minutes. But that's linguine. We want soup noodles, egg noodles. So I'm going to put this in the water. Yep, the water's ready. I'm going to put this in. If you time this properly, you'll put your noodles in, and that will be your timer for your soup base. So I'm going to put this in. Alright, I put the noodles in. It has to return to a boil. Here's our soup base simmering. Basically, when you're done, you drain the noodles. Don't rinse off the noodles, and I will tell you why in just a sec. Then you basically put the noodles back into the big pot. Take your soup, pour it in there, mix it. OMG, it's good. Now, the reason I say don't rinse your noodles. With egg noodles, it's not so much of a big deal, but if you're using any kind of wheat noodle, like if you're making linguine, spaghetti, angel hair, anything like that, when you rinse off your noodles, you're basically rinsing the starch off your noodles. Starch is what holds the flavor to the noodle. It's not going to hurt you to be there. When you leave your noodles unrinsed, after you've done cooking it, unrinse it, put your sauce on, you will find out that the sauce flavor just permeates through the noodles and makes it a whole different story. Same thing if you're doing, lo mein or something like that. Don't rinse off those noodles. It does not hurt you to leave that starch on there. It enhances the flavor. And that, anyway, is how I make my comfort food. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be very comfortable. Here's what it looks like, and it's good, and the pin is just rotating.
There appears to be a bit of a breeze blowing. Continuous lightning. Rain is just starting to come down. Look at that. And that wind is blowing hard. I mean, I just saw the answers in it a minute ago. And if you're not of a certain generation, you won't understand that. It's enough to sink or already sunk shop. Shop your ship, yeah. I almost said it twice. Alright, I'm at Home Depot and I'm getting this to match up with my other one, which I hope I remember to put out this year. They still have quite a few of them left too. So I think I may have gotten here a little early because not everything is out, but there are a few goodies out here, and I'm thinking of getting Millie a little playmate. Anyway, I'll show you what we do have here. She says the same thing, and Millie does too. This thing's been singing without its mouth moving. They don't have a lot hooked up, but not too bad of a selection at the moment. Again, it's still September, so there's some good headstones. I'm going to show you from behind me. These are pretty good. These are big too. But they're also very pricey. Okay, so I didn't get the jack-o'-lantern. I got a new doll. Because this one, when I put it with the other one, it's going to look pretty cool. Because I have some ideas. This one also has a full range of movement. Check this out. See if I can find the starter on her.
Why do you seem so scared? All I wanted to do was play with you. I don't want to play alone.
See, she moves a little bit more. Her head moves instead of back and forth. It's got a little bit of movement. She got eyeball! And, yeah, the thing I don't like about this one is the feet. The feet look like something out of a Frankenstein movie, and it kind of overdoes it a bit. But this is supposed to be a doll. Possessed doll. And it's got the little teddy bear, which I think is awesome. With the hole in it and the two different eyes. Really makes the thing. So I'm going to put her, I got to come up with a name for her. Millie's over here in the corner, and I'm going to put her and Millie together, kind of like sister dolls. And then when I make the layout this year, I'm going to put the two sister dolls together and all the little Apple dolls that you've seen before. I'll show you one real quick. I'll step past the camera, and I'll probably trip over something. Oh, I didn't. And then I'll come back to the camera, and this is one of the little Apple dolls here. Okay. So I'm thinking, oh, your head got turned. You were looking at her profile. There we go. So I'm thinking I'll put these all together in a group and kind of theme that for one portion of my display this year. And then when the display is over, I've got to find a new home for these. Hopefully I don't have to find a new home for myself. But I got to find a new home for these, and I'm going to put this one, I think, I got to come up with a name. I'm going to put her and Millie together in the corner by the mirror. And I'm going to actually do that now so I can see what it looks like. And then when we get closer to October, I'll start figuring out exactly, well, not close to October, but closer to Halloween, I'll start figuring out exactly how I'm going to display them. But yeah, pretty cool. Got her at the same place I got Millie. The interesting thing is, when I got Millie, she was like $49.95, something like that. And this one was $39, and it has
better movement. But I think the pace is a little overdone too. I don't know. I might work on that also. So if you're interested in what this place looks like when we're filming, this is it. My front window is missing. There's a big green screen here so I can do this or something else. There's a big ass light right here, and there's another one right here, and these are both in softboxes. And what that does is it kills the shadows, so the shadows aren't so noticeable when I go to composite. We're doing a music video today, and unfortunately I'm not going to show you too much of it. Remember, I'm not going to show you any of it, at least in this episode, because we're going to end this one right here. This one took too long to get out, and it really doesn't have all that much in it. So next episode we'll have more stuff, and hopefully it will be more entertaining. I've had kind of a rough week, rough 3 weeks actually, and I just haven't had a lot of time to get to this. So I'll get to it on the next time, and you can be sure that something similar to that type of activity takes place. In any case, that'll be in the next episode. We'll be getting ready for Halloween, so next episode ought to be more entertaining. Okay, in the meantime, you guys have yourselves a great couple of weeks, or more. Hopefully not. End of line.